All right. Got the read assistant in the room. I don't know if I've been this excited or this nervous since I did my vows with Rachel 10-10-10. So this one is an interesting one that I've been thinking about for, since before the turn of the year, and it's got my heart racing. So last week I talked about that change only happens if you change. And I think I got that one wrong. Now, historically, that has been right, but I think it's wrong because AI is going to force change upon us. Sal Khan just wrote a new book, Brave New Word. He's the creator of Khan Academy. If you have children who have difficult subjects, you probably have looked at Khan Academy before. I am a subscriber of Khanmigo, which is the AI tutor. Check it out. Super cool. Sal Khan said, the water is drawing back and the AI tsunami is barreling towards us. Now, listen, I've lived through the introduction of cable, computers on every desk, thank you, Microsoft's vision, phones in every pocket, and the advent of the internet. And so these so-called advancements, let's just call them advancements, are the laughingstock of what is happening with AI. So for me, I'm trying to prepare you for what I'm seeing because I get contextualized, broad-based with all of our senior leaders. So the last time I felt this was on March 12th, 2020. You might remember that date, on the Wednesday night before the NBA owners shut down the NBA. And I thought to myself, wow, this is going to be huge. I feel that feeling today times 100. And that's why I decided to shoot this video as opposed to just writing a CEO Insights, because it's a little bit more complex and a little bit more in depth. You know, for me, I'm really grateful because when I was 8, my parents got me a Commodore 64. That 64 was 64 kilobytes of memory. I mean, that is insane how long ago it was. But at the time, I fell in love with technology and I've never looked back. And in 2021, I started using this weird writing tool called Closer's Copy, and it was connected to GPT. I didn't even understand the concept until I did, and I started to watch it write on my behalf, given plain language prompts on topics that I was trying to score on Google for. And in February 2022, I showed this to all of the CEOs who came into the Leadership Summit. I think Sue gave us a topic about healthcare, and Word Hero went to work and wrote an article that was serviceable, not great, but serviceable about the topic she suggested. In 2022, I also wrote an article in Dave Gerhardt's marketing community. Just as context, ChatGPT launched in November 2022. So this was not on anyone's radar, not in the mainstream. And the article that I wrote was titled, "These Tools Are Going to Ruin Google." And I had given a number of tools, Jarvis, Writer, Word Hero, Closer's Copy, and just talked about how the acceleration of AI and the ability to write content at scale. There were people in groups that I was in that were writing 1 million words a day using these tools that were passing Copyscape and completely mangling the search results that were there. Now, certainly, as a guy who ran an internet company in 2006, 7, something like that, I've done lots of nefarious things using content and tools, from link farms to article spinners to tools like this, right? The reality of it is it can be used for good or it can be used for bad. And I think you just need to be in that mindset that there will be always people trying to use it for the bad. Here's my point in all of this. All of the world's resources are pointed on one thing and one opportunity. And it's how AI can solve every job function in every industry on Earth. The velocity is insane. And my friend Jared Seidenberg he likes to use the word hyperbolic. And I'm going to use the same word hyperbolic here. But I think here's the future. If you can't think, you will be homeless. I can only imagine a world in the future where government is propping up people with universal basic income, because the future is mind-boggling. Now, let's think about this. What is changing? What has happened? What brings me to this place of being the leadership Paul Revere? The AI is coming. The AI is coming. Satya Nadella at the turn of the year was quoted as saying, agents will replace all software. This guy runs one of the biggest software companies in the world. And I'm going to post the interview and the breakdown of his words and what it means in plain language. Because the reality of it is, I've seen all of your profit and loss statements, and there is a massive line item that goes to software and subscriptions. So the idea that Nadella said that SaaS is dead is a monumental shift in thinking and in our business operations. Again, just like the billionaire owners of the NBA knew more than me, which gave me the little sign to say something big is happening, Nadella has more information than all of us. If he says SaaS is dead and agents are the future, he has more information than we do. And so we need to pay attention to that. So I think we need to understand the difference between horizontal LLMs and vertical AI, right? So horizontal is ChatGPT, Claude. It provides the broad-based knowledge and context across every job function and industry. And so an AI agent is specialized. It takes that broad-based, it gets retrained in a very specific, narrow thing that it has vertical expertise in. And that's done by both job function and industry. So it's literally the expert. And so the idea that you can chain together these vertical AI agents becomes an insane superpower. I'm going to give you an example about it in the future. Now, normally, I'm usually an early technology watcher and a second stage adopter. I just don't enjoy the morass on the front side of things not working. We are already past that point. And so I watched this happen with my internet company. So on the heels of the dot-com bust, companies were still trying to figure it out. And it left a little runway for guys like me to take a small investment and to roll out a company that could be successful. So the large companies with more resources, they bantered about privacy, investment, governance, what it meant, operational, right? All of the things that make large corporations difficult to work in. And small guys like me found a small corner of the universe to make a dent until they caught up. And then they blew by us. And I think that's the point. This is why you have to act now and get out in front now. Because your corner of the universe, if done right, can blow up to the next big thing. Now, how did we get here, right? So I think it's important to understand compute power and models in just a plain language example. So I can geek out. I won't do that because I'll save you that perspective. But NVIDIA has become one of the most valuable companies in the world. They create the smart chips that run all these complicated energy-sucking AI tools. ChatGPT has also become one of the most valuable companies in the world too. They're at the forefront of using the available computational power to harness information, reasoning, and new insights. The emergence of multimodal tools. When I say that, that means we're combining text, images, video, voice, and real life opens up completely new possibilities. So computational power and progress had adhered to something called Moore's Law for 6 decades. And Moore's Law read basically that every 2 years, computing power doubled in power and halved in cost. In this era, it's dead. It took about 6 months for capacity to double this go around. And the cost of using ChatGPT from 4 to 4 mini is about 20 times less costly. And so while the computational power is dramatically expanding, the relative cost, not the actual cost, but the relative cost will be zero. And this means that the problems that AI can solve will get better and cheaper, better and cheaper, better and cheaper. So why does this matter? This is because AI remembers like humans. It favors what you said first and last, and it remembers far less in the middle. And if you've ever tried to prompt AI, sometimes it's like talking to drunk Uncle Charlie on New Year's. It's really hard to get a good result. But this is changing. So AI is much like megapixels on your phone. Brands used to sell the idea of megapixels as a feature on the phone. Started at 1 megapixel, then went to 2, then went to 4. Now I don't even know the capabilities of our camera. In fact, I have 3 cameras on the back of my iPhone. I still call it 1 camera because they've become so good. It's no longer a feature that matters. The capabilities outstrip the use case. And that's the same thing that's happening in compute power. The favoring of recency and primacy will erode, and the degradation of memory and data will end. Everything will be remembered and stored as if it was just top of mind. We just had a conversation, even when it happened 4 months ago. It'll be crazy. Instead, in 2025, you're going to feel like you're talking to a spry, Harvard-trained, insert your industry or function major. The AI is going to go from there to perform like Einstein, and it will only get better and better and better. So when ChatGPT 01 was released, Terence Tao, who's widely believed to be the most intelligent man on earth, said it would take several years and a number of very specific constructs to get to the level of reasoning achieved by ChatGPT 03. The problem is it took just a few months. What we thought was going to take several years was here now. And that's why it's important. It's mind-boggling. But it makes sense when you start to understand computing, reasoning, and compound effect. We are headed to superintelligence. Tim Urban wrote about this, The Road to Superintelligence, 7 or 8 years ago. I'll include this video where he explains it. But the experts thought that artificial general intelligence would happen between 2040 and 2060. And now we're on the cusp of it in 2025. Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT, said we're within a few thousand days of true artificial general intelligence. And so it's scary how fast this is going to move. We're going to get to an intense concept called recursive self-improvement. And here's how it works, right? So the AI system is at a certain level, and let's just say it's at the village idiot level. It's programmed with the goal of improving its own intelligence. But once it does, it's smarter. And so its ability to improve itself continues to get better. It doesn't stay linear. It starts to become exponential. And so maybe at this point, it's at Einstein's level. And its work to improve its own intelligence with Einstein-level intellect becomes easier and faster. And it becomes much smarter than any human. It makes bigger and bigger leaps. And that's where we are on the cusp of to create this intelligence explosion. To say this differently, superintelligence is not something that we can remotely grasp. It's like a bumblebee being able to wrap its brain around Keynesian economics. Because in our world, smart means 130 and stupid means 85 on IQ. We do not yet have a word to describe an IQ of 12,952. And yet that's where we're headed. And so the possibilities are unfathomable when you start to understand the absolute compound effect of Einstein challenging Einstein to get better, and the new reigning champ Einstein challenging the new Einstein to get better and better. The next level of smart takes my breath away. Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, I'll put this video in there, believes we are closer and the impact is unimaginable. He believes we're closer to recursive self-improvement, that the AI will recognize its mistakes and will go back and change its thinking. It will update itself. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. So here's the promise, right? The number one thing that I talk to CEOs about inside organizations is people, not strategy, not tactics, not process. The number one thing by far is people. Attitude, execution, accountability. Those are the things. So I just believe that we're going to have AI agents programmed correctly that work 24/7, that they execute flawlessly, and they're highly accountable. And so thinkers, not doers, will dominate the future, because you can't out-execute an AI agent, but you can be more creative now. So I foresee a world where smart, creative people program a team of vertical AI agents in plain language. You don't need to be a programmer, with highly specialized skills. Each of these AI agents will work together in concert to produce exceptional outcomes, always aligned with the company's visions, their values, and the tone, solving the problem the way the company wants it to be solved. There is no off-script trying to do stuff. And they self-report metrics so that they can be improved. And in the future, an AI optimization agent will recursively program those agents to become better and better. And if you don't believe me that this is possible, I'm going to put another video in here where a guy talks about programming 20 agents to do workflows for him using plain language and a voice text and connections within databases. It is not that hard. We are not that far away. When you watch the first 20 minutes of this video, I think your mind will be blown. My mind was blown. And the reality of it is, I'm not talking about the future, like the far future, Jetsons type stuff. This is happening right now. So you can use tools like bolt.new or replit.com to generate no-code apps, portals, websites. You can use mindpal.space to create any complex multimodal AI workflow using any AI model, Grok, Perplexity, whatever you want to use. Whatever large language model you think is best for that application, you can use it. Relevance AI is a platform to easily connect specialized agent workflows. It's what's in the video that I'm going to put in the notes too. I personally use Google's Notebook LM to create a Jerry LM with all my thoughts, approaches, thinking, so that I can look and say, is this insight contradictory to anything else that I've said? Because I have podcasts, writing, I'm on calls 20 to 25 hours a week. The amount of context that I have is insane. And to pull it together, to synthesize new insights and to scale it, I think is part of my responsibility. Listen, when Salesforce transitioned to Agentforce in the end of 2024, Mark Benioff, who's the CEO of Salesforce, and the disruptor and pioneer of cloud-based software, they accelerated their strategy from 2026 to 2024 because they're moving from a SaaS CRM platform to becoming agents inside your company, provide you insights and solve problems. You know that that is going to be the future. Again, Satya Nadella has more information. Mark Benioff has more information. We have to look at these things. And I saw this opportunity with the internet. I was an early adopter. At the early stage, you can compete. 20 years later, big brands dominate because they have more resources. So the opportunity is always early. And that's why I'm imploring you today to stop and think about this. Because if you can get out front now, you can be one of the winners. And if you don't take action and you're a service provider to other companies, please expect the people that you serve to program these plain language AI agents to displace you. Let me say that again. If you don't solve the problem for the companies you serve, they will displace you. I had to make a very difficult decision. And that was to let Maria go after 3 years of working together. And I gave her a runway to continue to pay her, to get her to a better spot, and find a new opportunity. Because the reality of it is the problems that Maria was solving for me was going to be solved by AI and automation. And so yesterday I hired an AI developer and automations expert because that's what my business demands today. And that's what's demanded of us as senior leaders, to make the hard decision even when it's emotional. Super hard, the right decision. Let me just try and break down the agents for you, right? To illustrate the potential impact, imagine a sales process that has a sales research agent, and they go out and they scrape the internet for deep advanced research on the attendees. It will synthesize previous roles, connections, previous buying information, social media profiles, home addresses, previous addresses, to create a full research profile that's then uploaded into your CRM. And then imagine that there's a personality agent, and they use the research agent's work to generate a psychographic assessment and a personality profile on each person who's going to attend the meeting. And then a sales strategy agent who takes the intel based on the research and the personality and set the strategy, the length of meeting, the key discussion points, and the stories to be told. And then the sales presentation agent, based around the strategy and the understanding of the attendees, will generate hyper-personalized presentations that resonate directly with each attendee, maybe different colors, different images within the same presentation. The sales coach will be in your ear during the conversation and will upgrade your presentation and questions during the meeting to move clients through know, like, and trust. And when the meeting's finished, we'll have a post-call optimizer. The video will be processed, analyzed based on tone, eye contact, level of engagement. The analysis will be sent to the sales coach agent to train the human, And the communication agent will use the post-call optimization analysis, and they will write hyper-personalized emails that continue to move people down the funnel. This isn't Jetsons type stuff. This is happening now. And so if you want to think about how this might impact your business, I'll put a prompt down the bottom as well about how you might be able to understand how this works for you in your business and what you're doing. Preparing for the future. Again, the AI philosophy is going to be insane in 2025. When I consider the tenets of what I believe, what I've learned, the outermost ring of the business acceleration model is learning. And so get people who are smart and can think inside your business. Learning organizations always innovate and solve problems differently. Hire the best people you can find. For me, talk about going all in. I bought an AI wearable from a company called Limitless because I know that we only remember 25% of what we experience. And I want to be able to do more. I'm excited for this prototype to arrive in Q1 so I can experience 75% of what I've been missing for 50 years. And we'll process that information so that I can synthesize, share, and scale insights. Some of you are concerned about privacy and confidential information. This may sound crazy to you, but I don't believe in privacy in 2025. When social media happened, I gave a presentation about connection over privacy. We have willingly traded privacy for the feeling of connection. I think it's resulted in isolation and loneliness, actually, but that was the trade that we made when it came out. The data is not your own. It hasn't been for a long time. Data aggregators dominated the fastest growing list for 10 years. Go to places like Spokeo to find out where I've lived, every cell phone number I've had, every family member, traffic tickets, you name it. It has information on me. And even when privacy is expected, it isn't upheld. Just ask any large company that's experienced a data breach, Target, Home Depot, Facebook, you name it. And if you think the ground war in the Ukraine is crazy, you should see the cyber terrorism that is happening underground. That's the real war. And that will be the war of the connected future. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy. I don't expect it, but I still believe in the promise of technology is greater than the inevitable data exposure. So I'm jumping in now. Besides, it's not ideas, it's execution. It's the ability to put into motion what you believe. If this is truly an issue for you, then consider self-hosting an open source LLM on your own server. Good luck protecting it and making sure that it's secure. I just don't think it's worth it. Shelley Palmer at Computer Electronics Show this week said something that was pretty crazy to me. Stop and think about this one. We are no longer the sole writers of our own history, and we will never be again. Think about that for a minute. And we think about the ramifications of monoculturalism, the quintessential Xerox of the Xerox of the Xerox of the Xerox of the Xerox, where all kinds of issues are about to happen. I'll put a note to the article in that. Listen, it's real, the problems that we're going to face, but we're not going to stop it. So I would encourage you to step into it and to use it well. Let me just finish with this. I may be wrong on the timing. I will not be wrong on the impact. So instead of scaring the shit out of you, what can we do? I would be encouraging your people to use AI every day, minimum 30 minutes, and in meetings, report back what they learned, how it improved their role. You have to get people to places where their mind goes, which is, I am going to be displaced. No, you need to be the creative thinking person partnering with AI to accelerate our impact. And if you're not, then you will be displaced. I would start with ChatGPT and just ask it questions. Treat it like that smart Harvard-trained student in your area of expertise. Think about it as a good thought partner. I mean, my son Briggs and I on the way to school have epic conversations with ChatGPT. It has a voice model where you talk to it. We call her Chatty for short. He loves to talk about battles among his superheroes and his anime characters and who would beat who in a battle. And I've asked Chatty to challenge him to think, defend his ideas, and encourage strategic conversations. Why? Because I am desperate to teach him how to think. Don't just be a consumer, be a creator. And so those are the conversations that I'm having on his terms to help him upgrade his thinking. He doesn't even know it, but those are the conversations we're having. I would tell you some of you are in the space where you're hiring or considering hiring an AI or automation expert to get your people out of the mundane administration and into the critical thinking of their domain. Imagine if we took the administration out of people's everyday work and gave them the white space to think about ways they could upgrade and serve our clients better. I think that would be super cool. If you're considering that, I'm all in. I went and did it. I think it's the right move in today's day and age. The last thing that you should consider is add AI tools to your company stack. Pay for Gemini if you're on Google, pay for Copilot if you're on Microsoft. See what happens. Is it quote unquote expensive? Sure. But what happens if you start shutting down all of these SaaS platforms that you don't have to use anymore? I think it'd be pretty amazing. I don't want to be an alarmist, but when I see hallmarks of certain things happening and triangulating them forward, I feel like it's my responsibility to tell you what I see. And this is one that's taking my breath away. And so I hope for you and for your company's sake that you take this seriously. And I hope that you watch the couple videos that I'm going to give you, because in fairly short order, I think you will come around to the fact that this is real. As Eric Schmidt keeps on saying, I think it's underhyped. Everyone says it's overhyped. I think it's underhyped. The impact is going to be insane, whether it's in 2025 or in the future. Just the way it is. And of course, if I can be of any help to you, I would love to do that. So hope you guys have a great day.